How stupid are we that we're buying the same thing all over again? Greetings Rommies and welcome to RomRom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and to a different content. This time I'm gonna be ranting, thinking aloud about a comment. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. Thanks to all those who come here often, especially those who subscribe, and even more are patrons. There was a comment a couple of weeks ago on our channel on an old video, and I'm reducing it to the max, but it said that we are buying the same content all over again, over and over and over. And it was asking us why. How many times do you want to drive on Bathurst? How many times do you want to have Spa? How many times do you want to be racing around in Imola? It had a point. It had a very good point. On the other hand, it missed the mark for understandable reasons. I would say we are not buying the same thing all over again. And that for different reasons. Physics models change, evolve, get better. The driving on Project Cars 1 compared to the driving on Automobilista 2 is like day and night. The driving on Assetto Corsa compared to Assetto Corsa Competizione and presumably Assetto Corsa Evo is gonna be completely different. GPUs and CPUs and our computers have gotten better at calculating graphics, physics, and everything else, and talking to our devices, our wheels, our pedals, whatnot. So we are not buying the same Spa on Assetto Corsa or Project Cars 1 as we are on Automobilista 2 or Assetto Corsa Competizione. Another reason why we may want to buy the things all over again, so to speak, is because the new sim brings a new engine. It brings night and day cycles, which the old engine didn't have. Example here, Automobilista 1 and Automobilista 2. It brings VR support, it brings weather. So, of course, you're gonna buy the new sim that brings you these things that you may want. And yes, it's gonna have many, if not all, tracks that you already had in the old sim. I'm not driving the same track on Automobilista 2 than I'm driving on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Automobilista 2 is an all-purpose sim without mods. Assetto Corsa is or was an all-purpose sim with mods, but now it's gotten quite old in its physics. Assetto Corsa Competizione and Le Mans Ultimate are single-purpose sims without mods. Therefore, they can structure the physics on those series that they support. So at the end of the day, we are not buying the same thing over and over and over again. We are buying different parts, different ways of understanding driving and racing on different tracks or on the same tracks to get to Spa or Bathurst or whatever. And here I'm gonna digress a little bit. I understand why Assetto Corsa Evo is going a little bit different at it, because they took a look around and maybe asked themselves the same questions and said, how much better do we want to do the physics if people at the end of the day are gonna be driving in Spa, Imola, or Monza on GT3s? We have arrived at our peak understanding of that, and we're not gonna get better. Therefore, they are doing a racing sim, but to be able to grow and attract more people, they're going Forza or Need for Speed with sim physics. After you've done all cars everywhere, not really, but bear with me, where do you go? The answer of different sim racing studios is different, depending on their philosophy and depending on where they want to go. Kunos are trying to repeat Assetto Corsa, but presumably with tighter control over it and over the mods. Reza may go into deeper and further content, them getting the IMSA license and starting to talk to different companies around IMSA may lead to even more content, and I hope they go Asia at some point. KW studios are catching up and are going drifting. And the Studio 397 are trying to survive, not going there. Personally, I'd love to see much more content. All times, all continents. But we know most non-hardcore sim drivers want casual sim racing. Normally that means either Spa or Monza on GT3. And companies can hardly recoup the money they spend on the licenses, let alone what they spend digitalizing the content. And that's where the mods come in. So there is a reason for us buying things all over again, or may I say, there was a reason. As I said, physics are more or less at the peak of what modern hardware can do. Graphics are quite good enough, I'd say. So, as a sim racer that I suppose is less than casual, by the way, not dissing on casual sim racers, if I have maybe 2 hours per week, I'm driving the same car on the same place all over again. If I go to Helldivers 2, I'm gonna use the stratagems that I've been using the last 2 years, and I'm going hunting bugs because that's what I can do better. I'm not gonna go anything newer because I don't have the time to get skilled on that. So, not dissing on casual sim racers. The question is, you there on the other side of YouTube, what do you want to see? Where do you think sim racing is going 2025 and beyond? Do you think we are buying the same thing over and over again? Why do you think so? Or why do you think it's not so? Let us know in the comments, because this is a very interesting discussion to have.